Welcome everyone to Skullhead's Crypt. I'm Mr. Maniacal of Price Entertainment, and today we are going to show you a basic zombie makeup. Zombies have become so popular in today's culture. Many do the zombie walks, and because of The Walking Dead, I'm sure we will see zombies infesting our streets this Halloween. But you may not be sure how you should do your zombie makeup to be realistic. Well, today we're going to show you. Now, first and foremost, in doing any type of makeup, you'll want to consider what kind of base color you want your character to be. For a zombie, we want kind of a undead look. And when you look at dead, rotting flesh, it is not peach tone or flesh color or any color of that nature like we have on our test subject here. It is more of a decayed, rotted look. Touch of blue, maybe some gray on the base. So we're going to start today with a cadaver gray produced by Ben Nye. Now I will apply, if you use this type of grease paint makeup, you want to apply it a little bit at a time. Now when doing a foundation, you don't want to use any of the smaller brushes. This is going to be for detailing. You want to use some type of makeup sponge, because that way your makeup will go on, it will cover a larger area at any given time. You can pat it down, and it gives you a nice, even look.
The one makeup tip I can't stress enough is you must be even with your base. I've seen so many makeups over the years in the haunted attraction industry and on Halloween that look streaky and fake. The more even you go with your base, the more realistic your makeup will look.
This makeup should be easily done. It's such easy makeup to do, quite frankly, that you should be able to do this on yourself at home. Or you can do it on your friends if you're going to do a zombie walk or going to be The Walking Dead this Halloween. It is really a pet peeve of mine, as well as others in the industry. Neck and ears, any part that's exposed, you want to cover with your base makeup. Now, for the purpose of this makeup, we're not going to go full coverage here. Maybe a little bit to the ears and stuff of that nature. But do you see how it's blended in? Very little streaks. It almost looks like a natural tone.
Okay, alright, we're going to apply the shadowing. Now for this, I'm using one of my favorite colors, and that is also by Ben Nye. It's called Character Shadow. You don't even have to use a base foundation for this color, because it looks like, when it is applied, natural shadowing. And it's amazing, amazing what this does. So we're going to apply to give the eyes more of a sunken look. Do you see how beautiful that color is? A natural shadow. Beautiful.
Now for this, I know I said to go light on your colors for your foundation, but on the top of the eyelids, to give it a more sunken look, to give it a better effect, you want to apply it a little bit heavier. And as you go around, like on the inside of the eye socket here, as you spread outwards, then you can do a little lighter. And then as you come down, feather it out some. Give it a nice even look. And And even then, and if you think that you've gone down too far, you can go back with your shadow or your highlight color and dab it in there. Give it a little bit more. See the difference between the shadowed eye and the plain eye. One of the tips that were given to me years ago when I first started to learn makeup myself, that I really think benefited me quite immensely, was look at your own natural shadowing. Go into the bathroom or something, take a flashlight, and look at yourself in the mirror and shine the light around and see where your natural shadows fall.
For this case, I like to do the temples with my fingers because you just kind of just find where the temple would be, just dab it in there. Just dab it out there. Give it a more something look. Okay, now if we look towards the camera, now I'm also going to give very lightly look across the top like so. Notice how I keep brushing. You can do that with the sponge or whatever. It kind of allows the brow to pop out some. Now, if you feel your face, feel where your cheekbones are. And this part down here, if you look at a skull, you notice that this is the part, the cheekbone part, and this is where your teeth sort of go back. And here, cheekbones here. So this part we need to look a little gaunt. And by that, I start very so lightly on the bottom, and then brush it out more. And then back. And then we start to blend it down. Don't worry if you kind of do too much, because again, you could always touch up with your color. And you want to get that down as much as possible.
Another tip, if you notice what I'm doing here with my finger versus the brush, is I'm not doing a full solid color. I'm kind of almost doing lines, giving it a weird type effect. Now with a very thin brush, I'm going to do things like the nose. You just follow the curves to accentuate, make the nose itself stand out. Give it a more evil look. Now notice how we can accentuate evilness.
The other things you want to do, you want to highlight. Again, this is something that is quite often overlooked. A lot of people will just do the basic foundation, and quite frankly, in a haunted attraction, or if you're going out or doing whatever, this makeup is pretty decent. But you can really make it pop and stand out if you do some highlighting. Now for this, I'm using a almost like a sky blue, but I'm only going to use very little. Anything with under here, the eyebrows. Gives your character some depth. This makeup can be easily adapted if you use various prosthetics. Now, say you wanted a exposed jaw piece, which we sell various prosthetics like this at PriceHauntedEntertainment.com. Little shameless plug there. But if you use a prosthetic piece with like teeth and so on and so forth, you know, you can use the same color technique. This is just a basic grease paint zombie job. Now, to finish it off, you can add some blood, some fresh scab, have it drooling out of your mouth, like you just took a good bite out of somebody's neck or arm, or ripped off their scalp and exposed their brains and you chomped on it. You can do that kind of thing. You can find these things at your local makeup store.
Fresh scab is a wonderful, wonderful tool to use. It's a gelled blood, and it adheres and it doesn't dry out. You just take it and just smear it on. Gives you that chunky look. You could do that around the mouth and so on and so forth. And again, with your prosthetic, you glue it on with spirit gum. Another technique that you can do that is found, that was put in the Dick Smith Handbook for Monster Makeup, which is, if you want to really learn monster makeup, learn from the master Dick Smith. Find this book. Some of the makeups may look cheesy in it. I know it was written for children back in the day, but the techniques that he describes in this book are so profound, so wonderful, that you will find yourself using them in every single makeup. Now, one technique that he used for teeth, exposed teeth for a skull, is he cut some nylon, like something you would wrap candy in for a party favor or a wedding favor. He cut some nylon out in the shape of the lips, and he took dry roasted, unsalted peanuts, and he sculpted them down. He just took a little X-Acto knife and cut them into the shapes of teeth. He glued them onto the nylon and then used spirit gum to attach them on the lips. You can do that technique. Smear some of the fresh scab and blood dripping down and blend it all right in. But you can use this basic grease paint shadow job, you know, as your foundation in any zombie look that you do, or any basic undead look. This, again, this is pretty much makeup 101 when first starting out with the haunted attraction industry. If you want to break away from the masks, these are the techniques you must master. Your shadowing and your highlighting.